And we're back with the second part of Demolition Racer on the PlayStation. Yes, the PlayStation. I'm not playing the PC version. I don't know how I missed that in the first part. But we're going to be doing the Arena League next, which I know appears on the bottom of the league list, but just like the first league, it's unlocked at the very start of the game. So I'm treating it as the next one we're going to be doing for this part. So that's going to be a fairly short part, as there's only 3 stadiums in this game. The first of which is here, being the San Jose Stadium. And, well, you pretty much have the same sort of idea as you do in the races, where whoever has the most points by the end is going to be the winner. But, of course, the main challenge with it is everyone's out to get each other, so your finishing position depends on, basically when you explode. So anyone who dies, they're out, and that's their finishing position. And of course, just like the races, you also have the multipliers for your position and whatnot. So you really want to make sure that you're gonna try and last as long as you can, because otherwise, how are you gonna get more points thanks to the multipliers? Excuse me. I'm using the Cruiser for this one because the Cruiser, whilst it is a little bit slower than the Marauder that I started with, or like the Ford Maverick lookalike. This Cruiser here, or which basically like an old 57 Chevy, I believe. This vehicle here, whereas it's slower and whatnot, it has more armor, which means it can take more abuse. So in an event like this, where you're going after everybody and trying to last as long as you can, this is going to be a more preferential vehicle than the other two that you could start with. Of course, it's not the best. There are 2 unlockable vehicles that have even more armor than this, but we don't have those yet, so we're going to have to be using this because this is the next best option that we currently have available to us. And yeah, you can kind of see what I tend to do when it gets around near the end and I have very little health left. I just try and kind of circle around and to try to keep myself moving. And the reason I do this is because that way it constantly tries to get the AI many of them will try and target you. It always requires them to try and keep circling after you. And a lot of times they can run into other vehicles because they're being careless in terms of trying to get to you, because they don't care about the other vehicles that are already dead. They just care about getting you. So if they smack into them, that means they're losing health. So that makes it easier. But I didn't quite get it to become the last car, but we got fairly close. So we still got a good multiplier, and I still made enough points to get the win. And that was San Jose Stadium was the first one, and we're going to be here on the second one. This one actually took me quite a few attempts to get the run here. This is Lyon Stadium. This one is certainly a bit more of a challenging layout, because the first one, the San Jose Stadium, is very simple. It's just basically a bowl. You have the outer ring, you have like the outer ring, which is higher up, and then you got the middle bit where it goes downwards. You don't have that with Lyon Stadium. You have more like a kind of like a rectangular based arena with 2 hills, with two hills next to each other's. So it's the layout kind of gives a little bit more of a challenge, because you kind of have to you have to again keep yourself alive long enough so that you're not going to be taken out well before any of the others, but you also have to try and strategize and navigate your way sometimes through in between the 2 hills or onto them, because the way it's laid out, it makes it a little more difficult to be doing the circling method that I was showing in the San Jose Stadium. Yes, I apologize if I do sound a little bit tired. I've been pretty tired mostly all day. I'm only about a day removed from getting my second COVID shot, and yeah, it's definitely making me a bit sleepy, and my arm is still sore from, where I got injected, but whatever. It's no big deal. Anyways, so even though I was the 5th car and I didn't last got outlasted by 4 other people, I still made enough points on that run to get the win. As we come to the final of the stadiums in this game, Pelton Stadium. Now, this is almost kind of like an inverse in a lot of ways of San Jose Stadium. The outer ring bit is further down, whereas the middle bit is is a hill. So if you might have noticed during that start there, if you get lucky enough and you have all the cars crash into each other, occasionally your car will just jump up, and if the game basically, if you luck out on it, it's very possible you could just give someone a surprise death from above. This is the easiest stadium to potentially pull that off. I'm not saying it's easy to do, because it's definitely not. But out of all of them, this is the most likely where that's going to happen, because of the way this stadium is set up. And yeah, because it's got that kind of outer ring bit, and I'm again just doing this, but you could just see this particular stadium really shows off very well how the AI just try to go after you. They really time themselves very well to try and chase you down and hit you. They more often than not will get a few good hits on you, because they're just the way they're programmed and stuff, they're just very good at that. Again, this is just kind of the method I do. It's not the best method. I'm gonna admit that, but it's a method that I use because, hey, it tends to work for me. I know some people sometimes they might do a bit of a ring around and then they'll go up into the middle and stuff, and that works too. I guess it's really just you just do whatever method tends to work for you. So this just happens to be the method that works for me. Even if it takes me a couple of attempts, I just, you know. But you could see it here, right? I'm making a lot of points, nearly 1,200 points, even with this method. But yeah, you can really see some of the last few are really sticking it out. But there was one that just went, and I think I'm about to go here. No, wait, no. It was another person that went just before I did. But yeah, despite that, though, that was a very, very good points run. 1,335 points, and I was easily in first place. And yeah, that is the Arena League. Only 3 stadium events. All 3 of those stadiums would return into no exit, and then they'd introduce a 4th stadium, which I think is just a reskin of the San Jose Stadium. But we've unlocked the stadiums, and we've unlocked the Widowmaker, which we'll be seeing in a future league. But not the next one. That's going to be for another one later on. But thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 3, as we'll be taking a look at the Semi-Pro League. And again, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my links below. Become a member of Patreon. $1 more gets you named in each video. And I'll hopefully see you all on the next one.